Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, James, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I'm recording this. Hey, what's up, people?
Oh, good.
MMA Roasted Podcast. It's me. I'm here with Jason Mayhem Miller, who I watched your video yesterday after jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You look, first of all, you look sweaty as hell. What was it? What were you on for?
Bro, that was a
5 minutes?
10-round Tuesday, bro. That was a 10-round Tuesday, so it's an eight-minute round. So I had just I was speaking on instinct at that point. You know, I'm still a little bit worn out from it. I mean, the young Mayhem would not give a shit, but
Wait, so you
older
went 80
Mayhem,
minutes?
Yeah.
With how many?
Well, actually, 75 because I started the first round a little late with some knucklehead who didn't know how to pummel.
So, okay, so you go 80 minutes with 1 minute round in between, it's like 1 minute rest?
Yeah, I think it's like 45 seconds. It's like a very taxing thing to do.
Now, when I used to do jiu-jitsu, and I got to get back into it, I would go so hard the first 5 minutes, I would have to take 5 minutes in a row off. I'm just sitting there like I just got shot, you know, like a wounded duck. Are you only going 60% in the beginning?
Nah, hell no. But well, at the end, by the end of it, I was like letting the small dudes like get me in submissions and choke me out, and I'm a real sick bastard. There's this guy who was like 260 or something, just a big monster goon, and I could tell he's used to like stomping everybody out. So at the beginning of the 80 minutes, beginning of the 10 rounds, I just smashed him a few times, and then you know, because he's big and strong and like pretty, you know, he knows jiu-jitsu, but like I just did the old veteran moves on him, like wiggled around and choked him out a few times. And then later on, I was like, all right, bud, here's your chance for revenge, because I was dead ass tired.
Now, are you starting in the butt scoot, or are you going from the feet?
Starting to what, bud? Oh, wait a minute. Got it. Sorry, man. I really messed up because I attached the friggin' look at it. Look at this. You know I live in the hood.
Wow. You live in that trailer?
I mean, I wish. That would be an upgrade from where I'm living right now. I mean, I'm going to move here pretty soon. Oh, there it is. I'm going to move here pretty soon, but in the meantime, in between time, I'm stuck essentially like living in the straight up hood. Now, I'll tell you this. I don't know where I'm going to record our podcast right now. So you're going to have to get the editor to work his ass off right now.
Now, I got to figure out a way, somewhere to go where it's not like music. I'm in Mexico. I'm in Cozumel working on a cruise ship. And I was in a restaurant and they have Wi-Fi. So we'll see how this goes. But let's see.
Oh, Mexican Wi-Fi, yo.
Yeah, Mexican Wi-Fi is a whole different kind of Wi-Fi. Let's see. Can you hear me?
The irony is, like, you're
Am I lagging?
undocumented Wi-Fi worker.
How's this? Better? Is there a lag here or no? Jason.
Oh, wow. The Wi-Fi is really working spectacularly. I can't hear a word you're saying.
What about now?
Yeah, now you're fine.
Oh, good. All right, because there was music in the back, so I was wondering if the music was like fucking me. Yeah. So and then I read your quote where you let guys put you in bad positions and you start from there.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any? Because I know some people would then go, "Oh, wait a minute, this guy thinks he beat me. This guy is going to go around saying I tapped Mayhem, or tell people."
Yeah, I'm beyond that. Yeah, when I was younger, I would never let anybody get anything. But what I realized is, if you put yourself in a bad position and then like work your way out of it, what happens is later on when you're really going, if you get in a bad position, you've been there, and you can you have like a stronger defense. It turns it into where you can wriggle out of almost anything. You know what I'm saying?
But how do you know when to tap? Because is there a fear of a tapping?
when the walls start closing in on you, you better tap, or you're gonna wake up with a Steven Seagal in your pants.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with me.
You know, I live in the.
But that's how I tore my ACL though, because I was like, oh, I could, in wrestling, it was all about power through it. Don't be a pussy. Get off your back. And then when you get that mentality of like in jiu-jitsu of like power through everything. And I was powering through the first 9-10 things, and all of a sudden my ACL was gone.
Yeah. Well, you're talking leg locks and whatnot.
Yes.
You know I live in the hood. Shut up. ACL is a real serious one. A knee submission, buddy. Like that's not the one to like get caught in and power through. Like you cannot do that. Like this is important to protect your joints. Chokes are different. Choke is the worst case you fall asleep, and that's a bad thing, but it's not as bad as ripping off, like doing permanent damage to yourself. So I would advise against knee bar type.
When you fought CB Dalloway, because I remember when your leg was in the same position that my leg was in when I tore my ACL, almost like Bambi legs, and you were hopping over to him because you hurt him in the first. You actually rocked him. But did your ACL pop in that fight?
Yeah, I'm pretty like I gotta watch it back, but I know that when I like knocked him down and rushed over to like finish him, I kind of like slipped on a logo. So embarrassing to like get knee barred by a logo or get heel hooked by a logo. But it's like one of those things where I felt something go out, and for the rest of the fight, the whole damn that knee was unstable. I could tell. I was like, son of a bitch. So I had to go fight. What was your leg
already jacked before that?
I know it was like pretty. It stood up to training camp, but I hadn't wrapped it up specifically because I was concerned that I don't want to injure it. You know what I mean? I had surgery on it like years before, and I wanted to make sure that nothing would happen. So I tried to tape it up, but it's one of those things where you can't do nothing about it. In the heat of the moment.
When I was in 10th Planet and I got caught in an electric chair sweep, and I tongue out the wrong way, and I heard like a pop the first time, and I was just in denial. Like I knew my leg was fucked, but I was in denial. And then I had a flight that night, so I'm like basically like a little ball for 3 different flights. And then I land in Ohio at like 4 a.m, and there's nobody in the airport except for Diego Sanchez. It was the weirdest, and I go, Diego, and I've never met him before. And then, but we knew each other from Instagram, and we started talking, and I'm like, is my leg, and now I'm asking him for leg advice. Like that's the last guy. And then I was like, what are you in town for? And I think I took an Ambien, so I thought maybe this was a dream or something. And he told me he was in Toledo, Ohio, speaking at a church. They hired him, and they hired, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about, the Brazilian that kicked Bisping's eye out. The one who knocked out Vitor Belfort. They hired Vitor Belfort and Diego Sanchez speak at a church. And I'm like, I can't think of 2 people that should not be.
What do you mean?
The only thing that would have made more sense is if you showed up naked in the church with a fire extinguisher, and then it would have been the trifecta. But
buddy, I wish I would have got invited to that one. I didn't get invited, unfortunately.
Oh man, I'm so happy that you're not doing that anymore. Just those days of like, I remember going to your house and you telling me you had your own chemist. And you
Did
and
at
you
one
were
point, yeah,
and you were taking stuff that hadn't hit the market yet.
buddy. I never, and I don't think it ever made it to market either. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like one of those things. But it was very like, I don't know. You know why? Because it wasn't a very good recreational drug. It was more like, let's see if you could blast off into outer space and talk with Elon Musk's ancestors. You know, it was a very
First of all, how did
strange.
you get a chemist?
I Starbucks.
Really?
Yeah, like I started dating this molecular biologist from you know from Starbucks. I like I rizzed her in with my wiener dog. You know what I'm saying, in my fancy car, and she's a beautiful woman. I actually that's the same woman that I lost in the woods. Did I ever tell you about that?
What do you mean you lost in the
Yeah,
woods?
I lost her in the woods, but like, all right, we were we went to Yosemite, and I
Yeah.
took her out, and this isn't even a funny story, so I don't even know why I started telling it on MMA Roasted. But the thing was that she wanted to go camping, so we went camping. Right? We didn't take any of the research chemicals. We took good old fashioned mushrooms. Big mistake. Big mistake. Because I was in the middle of one of the most profound experiences of my life. And I noticed, because I like vomited and like saw Jesus and like talked to like the outer world spirits. Joe Rogan was there, tap dancing on a bongo drum. And yeah, I like saw the different layers of reality. And then and I noticed she didn't throw up and wasn't really communicating with me. And then suddenly she just took off down the path. And I was like, all right, well, there's only one path back to camp because we were leaving a beautiful scenery, like what's this called? Like a beautiful lake with excellent views and a nice vista. And it was a very spiritual, calming experience. And then the duality of life, it went from this beautiful experience to she ran down the path, and I was like, I went back to camp. She wasn't there. And then I walked around to the other campsite. Hey, have you seen her? No, dude, she was out all night. I like grabbed my axe and went on a adventure like against bears and wolves, and it was a really bad time. I finally had to break down and tell the park ranger, bruh, yeah, we're on mushrooms. She's out there. I don't know. You got to find her. And, all she got from that trip was a horrible case of giardia.
Did you ever find her?
Some say she's still out there to this day.
Why am I laughing?
Nah. Yeah, I found her. And I was like going through this whole emotional thing, like, oh man, like I love her so much. And oh, when she sees me, she's gonna be so happy. And man, she was in the back of the cruiser at the end after like I had enlisted the help of all the townspeople to go walk in a grid. I thought we were doing a body recovery, bro. It was a nightmare. And I was like, man, I love her so much, oh man. And then I got she's in the back of the Ranger's truck, I guess it was. And man, she looks at me and I look at her and she goes, do you have any chapstick? And I was like, man, what a letdown that was. I thought she was going to be so happy that I just spent
You can't
12
trip
hours
with people.
trying
You
to
never
find
know
her.
how drugs. I mean, you have to you never know how drugs are going to react.
Listen,
I remember.
but in my mind, everything was fine. Everything was beautiful. That's what drugs will do, kids.
Well, I remember you
they will
telling me.
flip
I remember being very concerned. I went to your party. We had a great time. You were showing me with your house. You were showing me about your chemist and drugs that aren't the market. And I was like, "Are you sure this is good for you?" And Mayhem, you have a way of convincing people that no matter what they're doing is the right thing. You could tell us, listen, you got to go through this fire right now, and people will do it. Like people will run through the fire, and you will convince them. And then, so you told me this was like this great thing. And then like 3 days later, I remember you got arrested for being in the church.
Negative church.
And,
I know.
but then you told me that you went on a 25-mile run and then you
42.
thought 42 miles. And then you thought things were attacking you. And then you need to take
Well,
it.
here's the thing, right? Here's the thing is that when you don't sleep for a good long time, and it's funny because, this is a more relaxed environment, MMA roast. It's not a very serious podcast, but I've been, talking kind of on these other shows about my like recovery journey to like how you stop doing drugs and being all crazy. But this is kind of funny to revisit this time in my life because I was man, I was so stressed out about everything that happened. It was like traumatizing that all this bad stuff happened. I blew my knee out. I freaking, UFC didn't pay the damn thing. And I had to like sell my stuff to, because surgery in America is like exorbitantly expensive. Like, what the hell? Like, why? They just jacked the insurance companies jacked the prices up for everybody. So I was really stressed out about it and super angry at the system, to the way things happen. And instead of like, I don't know, trying to campaign against this type of, price fixing that they got going on, I like just went crazy and like decided to lose myself in in substance, and I was so stressed out that eventually I went on a run like Forrest Gump and did not stop running until I had 42 miles clocked in on my Fitbit. Okay. And the funny part about the church incident, which I'll refer to it as that, is that, bro, that was at the end of 42 miles. And I was a half a mile from my house and my brain just gave out. I thought I was at my house. I thought I was at my house. You were there, bro. You were there. We were having a party. Remember that party we had where you kept playing whack ass music? That was that party. It got remixed in my head that I was there again, and it was like this wild, purple pineapple pool party that I would always have. And I thought I was there, and I sprayed everybody with the fire extinguisher. It was hilarious. Everybody was high fiving me. You know what I mean? I put on a robe and was dancing around in the robe. And then I woke up to police sounds. You know what I'm saying? The little radios. And I was like, and it dawned on me after I had finally slept, after days and days not sleeping, that, oh man, this is not my house. I do not recognize any of this. So what is going on? And sure enough, yeah.
No, I remember how crazy it was that you had two fugitives staying at your house, Pat Cummings, Eric Bradley, and they were on the run from the cops, and they were staying at your house, and they were telling me we can't stay here. It's too crazy. Like, and they were like, and you were the only one harboring them.
No, they went to they ran away to England right after that, right? They ran away. Like, those guys were on the run, bro. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, wow, these guys are on the friggin' run right now. I was not harboring a fugitive, allegedly. It's past the statute of limitations, I think.
No, they went to jail.
Whatever.
They ended up doing time. I mean, not real jail.
I
mean, they went to like weekend jail, they said.
I know, huh? Bro, I wish I could get that sorted out. Like,
but all they did was all they did was mess up a guy's dorm, like a frat house, and trash it or something. But then the charges were about like, not all they did, but I'm sure if it was your house, but it wasn't like they didn't murder anybody, Speaking of which, so fighting a little bit of fighting. First of all, Chael Sonnen is fighting this Saturday night against Anderson Silva. He's boxing in Brazil, right? I'm not really sure what training he's done for this.
Yeah, right. All I've seen him do is run and suck on the damn internet.
It seems like the fight was
getting yesterday. A nice, he's getting an all expense paid trip to Brazil to kick it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
So
boxing match. All right.
I mean, Anderson Silva has been boxing. Like, he boxed Jake Paul. He beat what's his name? Junior again, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He fucking wrecked Tito Ortiz quickly. But here's what Chael says. I will be devastated if I lose this match to him. There's no part of me that will laugh or smile or think, shucks, this is boxing. I could not possibly care less what the rules are. He goes, I'm not planning to follow the rules anyway. In all fairness, I never follow the rules. I fought him twice. I cheated him twice. And then he brings me here like he could trust me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you know the expression. And he goes, you know what? I made about the Nogueira story. But I remember he talked about Nogueira was like milking his when he was milking he said no, what he said? He said he something where like he was putting gas in a horse or something or something, or he was petting up a school bus or something about back in the day. He said something where he goes, look, I made that up. You want to know what really happened the first time I met Nogueira? He thought my phone was a Pop-Tart. He took it and bit it in half. I would have called and told someone about that or posted about it, but you can't use your phone if it's broken in half. It turns out.
Yeah. Chael definitely comes with the bangers. So you know what I mean? I don't know who's waiting for him, but he's doing all right.
I mean, imagine he just knocks out Anderson Silva with one punch. I mean, how?
Buddy, imagine, you know what I mean?
I
John
hope
Lennon
that happens.
style.
I hope that happens. I get a little nervous that Chael has been used to losing. Like, I mean, you know, like when he lost to Fedor, he was beating Fedor. He lost to Tito, he was winning at one point. Where he just is like, fuck it, I don't care if I lose anymore because, like, who cares? You know.
Yeah. I think maybe he's there. I think maybe he might be there. Like, why would you agree to a boxing fight with a guy who's an excellent boxer? I'm calling it right now, Anderson Silva by triangle.
And I mean, I still don't get what they're doing, but fuck it. Did you watch The Ultimate Fighter yesterday?
No.
All right.
I didn't even know that was still on.
Yeah, they brought back Ultimate Fighter. It's Grasso versus Shevchenko, the two champions or not the two champions, the champion at 125. I think Bulldogs is jerking off right now. He thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he had it.
I thought it was 11 o'clock. I thought it was 11 o'clock. I'm sorry.
No, really? What part of can you come on at 10 o'clock? Says, dude.
Bro, I thought it was at noon, dog. Like, you know what? You didn't communicate effectively.
Because I gotta be back I gotta be back on the ship at 3. So I gotta, and then I'm 2 hours ahead. So it's one of those things where, like, right now it's 12:30, but this takes an hour to upload at least, you know, plus if anyone says anything fucking, you know, beyond racist, I have to take it out. So by the way, so Bill, this is what Bill Dawes does, man. You ever have a friend like this? And I love Bill.
Oh, no.
Dad. He goes, hey man, Craig Jones has a new jiu-jitsu league and they're looking for funny commentators. So we're back. Oh, cool. Can you reach out to him? Like, bro, like what? Like, what the fuck?
You're the man.
Like, he goes, hey man, or he'll send me, this guy's a great fighter. Get him on the podcast. Like, bro, you're more successful than I am. Like, what are you doing?
Everyone in this world knows you. No, know me.
They know you. I mean, you have more television shows than anyone I know, except for people that are actually successful. So
hey, you know what, man? I would have asked
for
you
a
guys.
loser, you're the top of the heap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a weird thing that I'm running into because, you know, I like to do commentary and this kind of thing, but the problem is that everybody, it seems like the same as the comedy world. It's like crabs in a bucket. Like, nobody wants to really, like, help you out unless you're helping them out, kind of deal. Is that, am I wrong about this?
That's 100%. I mean, it used to be people became like, wanted to be fighters, become fighters. Now it seems like people want to become fighters to become commentators afterwards. It's like they're looking at their next thing. So number one, you have that, as well as podcasters. And then, yeah, this business is a total, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? Almost, you know how many times I've hooked people up or paid people back or got people stuff that were like, you were the only one that ever did that for me. Only one.
Yeah.
It's for every 100 favors you give out to people in the comedy world, you don't even expect any, but maybe you'll get one back. You can't expect it. Maybe you'll get one back. Maybe.
Huh.
I mean, there's very few guys like Russell Peters or you know, guys that actually are like, yeah, I'll help you out. But I mean, Bill, you know that from booking shows, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think that like. I mean, I don't like to think I work that way or I do that, but that's because I have no favors to give to anybody.
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You get people spots to Laugh Factory every Wednesday.
Yeah, but I don't like the whole tit for tat thing where people like, hey, I'll give you a spot on my show if I get a spot on your show. That to me is like,
No. But anyone that's ever done shit for me, I'm always like, okay, how could I help them back? How could I at least pay them back?
Yeah, because you're a good person.
And I can't tell you the amount of people. Like I have the screenshots because I'm petty. Where I have screenshots of people that like right now are maybe top 2 or 3 biggest podcasters in the world. And then when they were starting out, hey man, thanks for giving me spots. Like nobody else did, but I'm like, and now they have the biggest podcast and the platform in the world, and they're getting people like, Donald Trump on or whatever, and they don't reach out.
Why don't you reach out to them? Why don't you say, hey man, why don't you like come with receipts? Like just send them the fucking thing. Like,
because I don't want to do that.
No. Hey, remember that time I got you a fucking Tuesday night at the goddamn Haha Cafe?
I did.
Remember
I
that?
kind of did.
I mean, the dime.
I did screenshot the person and say, hey man, remember these good old days? And he goes, oh, yeah, man. What a great memory.
Well, I mean, yeah, I had the same thing with Matt Rife. He'd want a feature for me, and I had other features, and I was like, he would beg me, I need the money. So I had to cancel another feature to bring Matt. And I literally was like, Matt, you're going to be hugely famous. And when you are, I want you to return the favor and let you feature for me. He goes, I promise. And we literally shook on it. For me to bring that up to him now would feel like such an asshole. I'd feel like such a Matt, remember when we were in the hallway at the Las Vegas Laugh Factory when we shook hands? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
how the fuck but that, bro? Know. I'll remind him. Matt Rife, you owe this motherfucker a spot.
Well, back to the Ultimate Fighter, right? So, this one guy was like, I don't know where he was from. I don't know, Amsterdam, Belgium. And it was the fight where he's like, first of all, they had terrible coaches. Shevchenko and Grasso are really good fighters, but it doesn't make for good TV. They're both really sweet, both polite. I mean, you had Colby Covington sitting there. It could have been Colby and Bilal or Sean Strickland and whoever. I mean, there are guys that would have been crazy on the season, but they Ultimate Fighter is never good when you have 2 polite guys, unless it's like Brock Lesnar or somebody. But even then,
yeah.
So anyway, this guy's like, yeah, I was suicidal. I had nothing going for me. I had no family. I have no girlfriend. I wanted to kill myself, and I thought the world would be better off without me. Right. So that's one guy. And he's like, but it got, and the worst is when a guy says that and then gets his ass kicked, which happens all the time. There's nothing more sad. I mean, there's
the suicidal person getting tooled up.
One of the worst was this guy, David Michaud, who I love. He's from like, he's Native American. And I remember him on the show and he was like, his whole tribe was there. And they're like, he's our only hope. And they're like 98% of our reservation is people, they're alcoholics and they're this and that. And, ever since the white man came and gave us, chicken pox, it kept going. It was crying and fucking trail of tears. It was just awful. Right. And then they're like, David is our hope, the bulldog. Then he goes out there and he's kicking the shit out of the guy for 2 rounds. And then he gets caught in submission in the 3rd. And I was like, why did you show me that? You can't do that. Anyway, this guy who won, the guy who won yesterday, the guy that was suicidal, came in with a lead elbow, which you never see, in like 10 seconds. Perfect lead elbow to knockout.
Wow.
Which Mayhem, how come we don't see that anymore?
Well, I mean, because that shit don't work usually.
Really?
Was it like a straight elbow? Like I didn't see it. So it was like a straight elbow.
It was an overhand right.
Was it like a Superman punch elbow?
Let me see if I can.
That technique is like a low percentage for a reason because you kind of see it coming. It's like overhand elbow smash with no setup. It's kind of like, of course that's coming, but it works for that exact same reason that nobody would go for that. It's kind of one of those doohickeys,
Was it like the people's elbow?
No, well, it wasn't like the
Sorta.
people's elbow, but I was. Let me see if I can find it. It was actually it was sweet, and then it was one of those things where they kept talking about, oh, if he lands, it's gonna be over. If he lands, and that almost this guy's got power. As long as it's on the feet, he's got power. And then the guy never seems to. Every time they say that, the guy never lands. It's like the guy gets taken down and just grounded out. But it actually worked out. I was actually pleasantly surprised. So that was pretty cool. And then what else is going on in the MMA world? So all right, so you guys watched last week's fight night?
Who was that? Was it Cannonier?
Yeah, the Killer Gorilla.
Oh yeah, I watched some. Yeah,
I thought that was a quick stoppage. It was a
Garbage.
It was garbage, right?
Yeah, like what the hell, bro? Like, that wouldn't have been a quick stoppage. Had he stopped it when the guy was getting all jacked up and then turned around. But then once he, and it's a hard job, bro. Referee is a hard ass job. You got to pick the moment to stop the fight, and he picked the wrong freaking moment. It was like the guy had fully recovered, if he had stopped it while the onslaught was still pouring on, it would have been a different story. Nobody would have been stressed. But because, Cannonier was like, had it back together at that point, it was, it like really left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Then one of those, like the toughest job, because you have to pick the moment to stop the fight correctly. And if you don't, then everybody gives you guff about it.
Yeah.
But the reality of that situation, he was hurt earlier in that moment. Like if you watch, go ahead and watch that again.
No, this is the elbow. No, this is
the overhand elbow smash.
Yeah.
So is this the Indian guy whose everybody's dreams are predicated upon?
no.
No, that was years ago.
All right, let's see this.
So right here.
Oh,
dude, what country are these guys from? Jesus Christ, from plus sign and equals?
Did you see it?
Hell no, that shit
Right
glitched
here.
out, bro.
huh.
Oh, he was. You know what? I still, it was kind of glitchy, but I think what I saw was the reason that worked was because he was fading. Like, this is something I go over with my guys a lot too, is that, all right, when you're going to throw a rear hand strike, like, for instance, a cross or even this elbow like this, if you're fading backwards in order to land that, like if you go back, you have backwards and then suddenly stop on a dime and go forwards, for some reason the strike is extra hard. Usually because your opponent is moving hard forward. So if you give space, and then reverse course, like go back forward suddenly, man, it's like double power.
Yo, what's up, people? I got to talk to you about Game Time. Okay, gametime.co. All right. I'm telling you, I'm excited for the NBA playoffs. It's been the best season of basketball I can recall in a long time. Super pumped about it. And Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier, which is great. I mean, who would want to go to a playoff game? Now, prices on Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets tip off. I mean, normally you would think it would go up. Nope, going down. And with killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. Trust me, you don't want to go there and all of a sudden you're behind. You can't see anything. That would suck. All right. Check out the Game Time app. I know there's a great bunch of NBA games coming up right now. Tonight, it's the Knicks. The Knicks are playing the Sixers, and the Knicks got this, okay? And I would love to go to that game. Okay, I would, that would be amazing. I'm from New York, so obviously I got to go for the Knicks and the Lakers and pretty much whoever else is winning. All right. And I'm telling you, they got last minute deals, they got flash deals, zone deals, easy to find. You could buy MLB tickets and for every kind of event in your area. They got views from all seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. If you get fired, you can't make it, something happens. All right. Now, you could save up to 60% buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater. All right. I know you guys love the theater, especially this audience, Broadway. You guys love Shakespeare. I'm sure we got some very Shakespeare people. All right. Now, and they also have in-app deals. They got zone deals. Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. You got all-in pricing. This feature shows total upfront. No surprise. That's the worst when you go to other things and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is a great deal. And you get there and it costs you an arm and a leg. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Now download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. That's great. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. All right. Check it out. I'm telling you, this is it. This is what you want to do. Do it now. All right. And also enjoy the rest of this podcast.
It's double powered. So that elbow looked like it was coming twice as hard because he was being chased.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's why that worked. Yeah, you made it. See, I didn't see it, but you made it out to be like this strike was just came out of nowhere. But
No.
if you look, the nuance of it is that he was fading back and then planted his foot and then went back forward. It's like, that drill where you see like football players run backwards, and then stop and go forward immediately. Changing directions like that is like double. It multiplies the force, especially if you're going back.
By the way,
then,
Mayhem, speaking of football, Bill Dawes was in college on the lightweight football team.
well, I mean, his chin alone. Do you say the lightweight football team?
Yes. What was it called, Bill?
Well, they changed it to sprint football, so people weren't embarrassed at parties saying like, "I'm on the lightweight football team." They called it the Sprint Football League.
But it was called the lightweight.
I don't understand what that means.
It was like
it was 160 and under. I can't believe in college I weighed 160. But the thing is, Adam, who's mostly on that team? A bunch of like badass wrestlers.
Of course.
So they could hit. They could double leg you on the field like nobody else. And they were small.
You're right.
Damn.
You're right. What's his name? The guy who won the Olympics is trying out for a football team, a pro team. He tried out for the WWE.
Pistorius?
No, not Oscar.
I think he'd be lightweight without the legs.
He was Olympian. He was. I thought he was going to MMA. He didn't. He ended up going to WWE. He had some kind of sexual assault charge against him that was like horrible. I don't know what happened. But they cut him in WWE.
Comic too?
No. He was a Olympian wrestler, and now he's trying out for the Buffalo Bills. And the guy made the team, but he had never played football before. Like he's actually.
Wow!
He actually made the team.
What position?
Let me see if I can find it. I'm so bad at like off the cuff because I'm so bad with these names. Olympian wrestler on the Bills. Yeah, his name is Gable Stevenson, Olympic gold medalist, one of the most dominant college wrestlers in NCAA history, signing with the Bills. Previously had WWE, but was released from the company. Yeah. How crazy is that?
So he got an SA and then got fired from WWE, but the Bills won him?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I'm not sure exactly what happened with the SA. I'm not sure, like, all these like rumors, and he's one of these guys that was like a heavyweight wrestler that was doing backflips after he won. Like you've never.
I remember this guy. Yeah.
But yeah.
So he's a serious athlete. That guy. I think when we were talking about him, I was like pointing out like years ago. I was like, bro, this guy could be an MMA champ the way because he was so athletic. For the heavyweight division, especially, there's a big skill gap there. That's probably why John Jones went up there. There's like the problem is, like I was talking about it earlier in the podcast, where big guys, they get to a certain level of technique. Like, like there's people who are good communicators, but they speak English with like a terrible accent from their old country.
Yeah.
It's like once they get to a certain level, they don't even need to speak English better anymore, because it's like it kind of helps them. That's what happens to a lot of heavyweights. They get to a certain point in their mixed martial arts skills where they can just beat up everybody they run into, so they never have to like learn even more. So the heavyweight division is stacked up with guys who can beat the hell out of all the small guys in their gym, and they don't really need to learn more. So I don't know that.
I feel like RFK
I'm just
Jr. is like that. I
spitballing
feel
here.
like RFK Jr. is like that. Like he's such a
What?
like he's so smart, RFK Jr., that you don't even care that like he sounds like.
Did he just like? Yeah, he plugged his voice box out. He like ripped his own voice box out.
He has some kind of disease where his voice is gone. My wife's like, I think he made a deal with Ursula from The Little Mermaid, where like I'll become president. I can't have a voice, but you listen to him, you're like fascinated. But at first, you're like, this is hard to listen to. I mean, you're like, I don't know, for me at least.
Yeah,
anyway,
at first I'm like, it's hard to listen to. And then an hour later, I'm like, it's harder to listen to. And then 2 hours later, I want to shoot myself in the face. That guy, I would never want that guy to be president. I cannot listen to him.
Well, they want him on
Every
the
time there's-
stage. Imagine him and Trump.
At least, bro, we got the technology. Why don't we just give him a robot voice box?
You're right.
Every time I turn on YouTube, it's like this like gentle robot voice telling me about some scary fucking thing that happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like the coal miners were.
They should give him like one of those T-Pain. They should give him like a T-Pain voice. Or
exactly. That's what I was saying, bro. That's what I was saying, bro. We like make him a pop star. The
he's got Kennedy money.
Star.
He could get a new voice box installed.
He was like an ex heroin addict. Like he really went through a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? That was my question, because they say he has a disease, right? It's like a lot of like rich guy diseases, like you ruin your voice by like doing too much heroin or something. Like I don't know, there's something there. It's like you always hear about people having colon cancer because they ate too much damn steak. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like it's like weird rich guy cancer that you get why other people are dying of lung cancer. If you're really rich, they say
you
like,
get
there's
gout.
a recent study just came out that if you're like rich, you're like more prone to cancer. It's because you get to enjoy your life way more than all the poor.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you really do. I mean, during COVID, everyone was like, keep your kid, isolated. I was like, that will fuck up. Look, I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor. Don't listen to me. But I know that if you keep kids away and you don't build up their immune system, they're going to be sick the rest of their lives. That was just common sense. It's like the kids that went to school every day were never sick, even if they were sick, because they just, versus a kid that's always sick because he's absent every once a week.
I was wondering why you were having your daughter lick doorknobs.
Dude, I took her swimming in Flint, Michigan. Okay, I was like, pumped her in there.
Drink the water. We're building up your immunity. Oh my god, yeah, and eat this MNRA.
I mean, how bad is when you were? I don't want to ask you about jail and Mayhem because
come on, bro. I was just thinking about prison because like the most exciting thing that happened was that guy on the Bills dropped dead on the field. I was like watching football that night, and I was like, whoa, that dude just died. Like I witnessed it in real time, and
he didn't die though.
I don't know. I know, but he did die, bro, because I saw him get up and then drop dead, and then and I knew it at that moment. I was like, that guy is dead, and then they came on the field and revived his ass. He did die.
What I was going to ask you about, was how bad, how much are people getting sick in prison?
Nah, not really. Like that's like man. Yeah, everybody is very strong against communicable diseases. The funny part was the COVID outbreak, right? Dude, I must have been the alpha monkey because I came in there, everyone got COVID. I was completely fine. I was in the dorms, and in my bed, from my bed, it was a radius around me of everyone else left because they had to go to quarantine, and I was fine.
Do you think it was
But
from
then
all the
again,
dirty?
too,
You think it was all the porn stars and all the living conditions?
maybe.
Because
Well, no, bro. Like, listen, in prison, like the way it is, you're stacked up on top of each other. So if one guy gets sick, everybody gets sick, and if your immune system is not strong, you fall out, bro. You got to go man down, and they drag your ass out of there. And the thing was that everybody had gotten sick, and it was really nice. Like then everyone left. I was like all by myself. It was pretty fucking awesome.
so in fighting,
It was
by the way,
really weird.
we had this guy that was the founder of Slap Fight as well as the seatbelt jiu-jitsu. He hit me up like 30 times. They've been asking me to come on today. Like I like read the whole press release. I had to watch jiu-jitsu matches, card jiu-jitsu. I had to watch Slap. Tim Sylvia is the champion. He's fighting this week against a guy named the guy's name is fighting Neanderthal. It's Tim Sylvia versus Neanderthal. And
Wait, Tim Sylvia, the UFC fighter from Days of Yore?
Yeah, Mark Coleman is
Oh
the
my God.
commentator. Some guy named Big Mountain is fighting. So this guy's supposed to come on, and he never came on. And then the dude from last week said he was coming on, Terrence McKinney from The Dentist. He's also not here. And Don Fry, who I told twice about coming on, said, "Oh, come on. I now have to call him after I text him. But I'm in Mexico, so I can't call him. So just so you know, this is what I'm dealing with. I had actually watched.
Buddy, your real friends are here, but when you get famous, bro, you better hook me up, dog.
Yeah.
We're gonna be asking for receipts, bro. I'm gonna take a picture of these 18 people watching this podcast, and I'm gonna say, "Remember when I did that for you, bro? Better hook me up with a sweet ass job." I want to be pinned too.
Dude, I actually watched this card jiu-jitsu stuff. You could bet on it. There's betting. You could bet.
That is insane. Can we back up about the card jiu-jitsu stuff? Like, who came up with it? How popular is it? I thought it was a joke when I saw it.
The guy is supposed to come on the show.
I thought it was a total joke.
No,
it kind of is. We're in this new meme economy where you have to be the weirdest thing. I saw this coming, bro. I tried to sell a show like this 10 years ago, and the producer laughed me out of his office. Like,
what was the show you pitched?
I pitched a show where it was different situations. Car was one of them. Like, I didn't think Car could carry a whole show. So my idea was Car, because I've been in so much street fights, right? And like, really what gave me the idea is one time I got in a big brawl with like 4 different dudes, and I tripped over a flower box, but I still got up and whooped everyone's ass. And I thought that was really beautiful that my martial arts even overcame the environment. So, I thought I had the idea of like fighting in, I called it Mayhem's Arena. And I had different environments that you have to fight in, start the fight in a car, start the fight on top of a hill, and he said, we can't get insurance for that, yada, yada, yada.
But you did Fight Circus. Fight Circus, you did. That was what you, I mean, right?
Bro, your Cozumel Wi-Fi connection just dropped out. What'd you say?
I said, but you worked on Fight Circus.
Yes, yeah. And Fight Circus, I pitched that idea to them, and they fucking took off running with it. And while I went to prison, they fucking succeeded, So I'm really happy about that, and I can't wait to get out there. Fight Circus, that's like the standard for crazy fights. I think,
but why isn't he hitting
now?
Up that guy John Nutt? Because he hit me up a couple times.
He is, yeah. No, he is. But as you can tell, I'm like in a situation where I can't really go to the. I think the state of California thinks that if I go to another country, that I might just go, man, fuck California. I'm over it. You know what I mean? And I'll stop being part of their prison industrial complex. You understand?
I gotta ask you a question, right? Because I helped get you the job at Fight Science, right? And I got you that job, and I remember like before the last episode. All right, you're doing great now. You're doing great. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I could not.
All right, come on, let's revisit Crazy Drunk Mayhem. Come on.
I heard because I called and I go, "How's Mayhem doing?" Right? They said you walked into a women's kickboxing cardio course and started yelling at everyone for not sprawling. Like
No, that is inaccurate. I don't know how much of that is somebody telling you the wrong stuff or you just making up ridiculousness so you can be on Gutfeld tomorrow.
You didn't deny it. You said that's
wait,
inaccurate.
oh,
Which
Yeah, I mean, look, I will say that I did make an ass of myself a few times, okay? I went too far. I was like, I treated every class like got super aggressive about everybody doing technique correctly, you know? I'm like I was fixated upon everybody doing like real fight technique. And yeah,
and
that's
then they
not the
said that
place for a women's
you
kickboxing.
also sold all the equipment. So they said they came in, all the pads were missing.
No,
And then
I didn't sell it. I didn't sell it. Okay, I rented it. All right, and they came back. It came back cleaner than before. All right. No, another fixation I have is kind of on cleanliness. Like Rampage gave me shit on the Jackson podcast because his backyard was covered in dog shit. So I cleaned up the dog shit, and then at the gym, the iPads and the gloves smelled like absolute death. So I put them all outside and sprayed them down with cleaner and like let them bake in the sun for a while to kill all the whatever the hell, you know, like Giardia and
the guy,
coli.
Ian. I love Ian. I go, how's it going? He goes, well, he came into a women's kickboxing, a bunch of like fat, like soccer moms, and started yelling at them. And he goes, the worst part, the worst part, he thinks he's helping. Dude, I laughed.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
I know. I really repaired my relationship with Ian because he sees what I was getting at. Because now I yell at the pro fighters to do this and do that. So he sees that I was just had this misplaced energy, you know?
Right, got
I
it.
had all this energy. And I didn't have anywhere to put it, you know? And so now that we got the pros that are getting to a higher level and guys are really tough now and you know, they appreciate my yelling now.
Oh,
but
good.
you know, yeah, okay, you got me. The fat women's kickboxing class.
No, I was laughing. So, dude, I was laughing so hard. I was laughing at the same time. I'm like, what have I done? Because I called and I vouched for you. And Ian was like the biggest fan of yours. He goes, dude, Mayhem's jiu-jitsu was on a level. He goes, I still make my students watch his fights. So he was the biggest fan, you know, the biggest.
No,
So,
and he is, and now I think he is now more so than ever before because he realizes that it was just misplaced. I didn't know where to put this energy because I was drunk. Like I was drinking and I was like out there like confused kind of because everybody became a pro fighter in my head. Everybody was going to the next level. And, you know, chubby soccer moms is not doing that. And my bad.
so Dominic Reyes.
How long am I gonna take shit for that? It's been a year, bud.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I just I figured you'd laugh.
Nah, it's all good. It is roasted, bro. Roast me, baby. Bring it on.
Dude, you should dude, somebody hit me up, a comic recently hit me up and he's like, hey man, can you help me write some jokes? And I was like, well, you know, of course, you know, give me some premises. And then he was like, well, he's like, I'm stuck. And I know all about this guy's crazy life. So I was just, you catch me in like the right mood. And I wrote him like 75 things wrong with him. He was like, what the fuck?
He's like, bro, he came looking for therapy and he got a roast battle.
Oh God.
Man.
So Dominic,
David Lucas, he did that too.
No, David, I mean, I've heard nothing but people are angry at David Lucas, like really angry at him.
Yeah, I've never seen that in the comedy world where people are like violently mad about David Lucas.
I've only had good, pleasant experience with him. Like I knew him when he was coming up. He came to my house. He was a wrestler. I think he like won states back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's a good dude. I mean, it's just the problem with internet is it used to be took you 5, 10, 15 years to become a headliner. And by the time you were a headliner, you kind of like figured out. Now with 2, 3 years, it's like you're learning on the job. And that's
well, but we're in a new era and we're outside of the Rogan sphere where, Rogan just like whoever Rogan,
anoints
whoever human centipedes, Tony Hinchcliffe is right behind him, and then Hinchcliffe boosts the guy up to the next level.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at it. I get why people are whining and complaining about it. To me, it's kind of cool, like what we were just talking about, where you're trying to boost up your friends. So I think it's kind of smart for them to do that. But the backlash, that's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying?
You have to look. You have to
kind
be. Some people, I think it's another. I think another skill. Like there's a skill of like you got to be funny, right? You got to be a good writer, actor, but you also have to be really good at not caring what people say about you online. That's an actual skill. I never thought that would be an actual skill. That's almost more important than everything else.
I know, bro. Listen, I'm building up my Schwab shield right now, bro. I'm unflappable. Nobody can hurt me right now.
Well, so we were just talking about JT Tilley. We're here with Bill Dawes and Mayhem Miller. JT Tilley is the founder of both Slap Fight, with which is going on this Saturday, as well as Car Jitsu. Right? Am I do I have that right, JT Tilley?
Absolutely. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Great, man. Great.
And you guys are having pay-per-views back to back?
No, we're giving the events away for free this weekend. Friday night, Car Jitsu Championship for free on Brinks TV, YouTube, and Caffeine TV. And Saturday night, Tim Sylvia fights for the Slap Fight Championship World Super Heavyweight title for free on Caffeine TV, Brinks TV, and YouTube.
Now,
wow.
How did you come up with Car Jitsu?
I didn't come up with Car Jitsu. I work for a company called Pro League Network, and my job is I've got a studio here in Branson, Missouri, where I've got an 18-year mixed martial arts team that I've been coaching. And a few years ago, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago, I came up with this idea to have two guys stand on either side of a barrel and slap each other until one of them fell down. And I don't know if you heard of it, but it kind of took off, and I ended up partnering with Dana and helping Dana create Power Slap, and then promptly leaving and going back to my own promotion where I don't necessarily have mixed martial arts students that compete in slap fighting. So I wanted something that they could actually compete in. And I love slapping, but I also love jujitsu. So my partners at Pro League Network brought a guy from Russia who had been doing Karjitsu tournaments for about a year. He had invented the sport, and we brought him here to the United States, and we did a show with his students versus my students, and then we kind of tweaked the sport a little bit, and we licensed it from him, and we created American Karjitsu, which has taken off over the last couple of years, and went from being sort of a freak show to being somewhat legitimate.
So you start off with your seatbelt on?
You start off.
I need to hear the whole. Please break down the whole way it works, because I've only seen clips, so I want to hear like the breakdown of Karjitsu.
All right, so here's how it works with Pro League Network and our version of Karjitsu Championship. You flip the coin. The winner of the coin toss decides if he starts. Don't look at me like that, Jason. Don't look at me like that.
I'm like, this is very. My mind is blown already, and I'm so happy that you're on, brother. Please continue.
Okay, fair enough, but don't make me come over there, man. I'm not a monkey, man.
Come on, bud. Hey, we'll get in your Tesla, and I'll choke you out with your seatbelt.
Bro, if I had a Tesla, man, it would be a much nicer camera pointed at me right now. Let me tell you how happy I am to talk to Mayhem, though. Just side note, man. Huge fan. I'm not a fan of anyone. Huge fan. My co-host for both shows this weekend is Mark the Hammer Coleman, also a huge fan. Just want to shout him out while he's watching. But I want you to know that first we flip the coin. Whoever wins the coin toss chooses whether they sit behind the seat, behind the steering wheel, or in the passenger seat. Typically, they pick the passenger seat. Then it's a 3-minute round. Both guys start with their hands up. When the host says Hajime, they unbuckle and they engage. If you don't get out of the seatbelt, you're fucked. If you'll get mounted and choked with the seatbelt, because in Karjitsu, anything inside the car can be used. It's very, very simple. So usually what happens is the host says Hajime, and both of them reach for the other seatbelt. They block each other's hands, try to avoid the escape, because the most important thing in Karjitsu is to get the hell out of your seat and become offensive as quickly as possible. Because unlike regular jiu-jitsu, where you've got plenty of room for your hips to move, there's no room in a Toyota Scion. You know what I'm saying? So You get on top of your opponent. You've got a whole 3-minute round to try to submit him. Now, we use IBJJF rules, but the points don't matter in Jiu-Jitsu because you have to win the round by submission. So position is everything. You can be in top position for the entire 3-minute round, and if you don't get the sub, nobody won the round. Round 2, switch seats. Maybe a guy gets a sub in round 1. That's okay. He doesn't win the match. He just wins. He just wins the round. And in round 2, same thing. They unbuckle. They engage after 3 minutes. If one of them has 2 subs, the match is over. If one of them has 1 sub and the other has 0, match is over. But if they're 1-1, we go to the back seat for the 3rd round. And at the end of the 3rd round, if there's still no sub, we go to sudden death. And the first point scored under IBJJF rules is the winner.
But now you said you could use
anything in the car.
Like could use like an ashtray. Could use the lighter in the car.
Well, we take that stuff out, man. But if it was in there, you could. Yeah. What's typically used would be the seat belt. We get a lot of Ezekiel chokes with the seat belt. We get a lot of people like tying up the wrists and hands of their opponent by wrapping it in the seat belt and maybe spider guard.
But there are no slaps though, right?
There's been a few slaps, but that's not how it works, man. Inadvertently, there's a few times when a guy might get his head rammed into the windshield or the sunroof, and things come loose in the car. Usually, the rear view mirror will come loose right away. The officials will reach in and grab it and get it out of there. We had a guy. We've had a couple of Americana and Kimura through the steering wheel. That's a tough one. We've had some chokes over the side of the car. Over the door frame of the car. We've had a lot of chokes with the seat belt. And really, it really comes down to just hips, because in our last event, we had a last minute replacement. We had a white belt go up against a high level purple belt, and the white belt won just by having more gameness, and inside the car, if you're in the back seat, for example, you got a lot more room. There's no console in the middle to hem you up, but you're not going to extend an arm bar unless you lay the front seat down so you can take the angle, right? Or you're not gonna be able to get a heel hook.
So the guys
stick your body out the window. What's that?
The guys can move the seat. I didn't know the rules. Like,
if you and I were tied up and we were in an exchange, there's nothing to keep the guy from reaching down and laying the seat back. Right. Sometimes you're in a choke. Sometimes we'll have guys that'll get the choke with the seat belt, and then they'll jump into the back seat and pull the seat belt while you're still in the driver's seat. And the only way out of that is to lay the seat down, and just hope it's not an electric seat.
Show, man.
Now, is there any money? Is there any money in this?
There's money. Absolutely, there's money in this.
How much do you win?
How much do you get paid?
Depends on the show.
75.
I just want to know what you got for the Netflix.
$25.
No, they get a nice fee. I'll tell you this. I have partners in New York City with Pro League Network. And I don't think they want me to discuss the pay plan. But since I know all 3 of you and I know your background, I will tell you that typically I know you understand that jiu-jitsu practitioners pay to compete. They don't pay to compete here. They get paid to compete. It is a generous fee, but it is not the reason they're competing. We don't pay them so much that it's about the money, but we do give them the compensation for their rank and their time. But they come here to test themselves. They don't come here for the paycheck. And if they ever do, we'll switch to different athletes, because what we want is the best possible fight, the best possible match for the fans. And so to us, it doesn't matter if it's 2 black belts or 2 white belts, just as long as it's an even match and we get to see a good battle.
I have some more questions.
Young man in the front, you have a question.
So who's the biggest name you've had do jiu-jitsu? And what do you, can you wear anything, or people wearing like just T-shirts and
jeans? Are you asking me what I have on underneath this? This is not the place, bro. The most famous jiu-jitsu match that I've hosted so far is Randy Couture versus Mark Colton. It was in Atlanta last month in a show we did called Car in the Bar. Yeah. It was called Car in a Bar, and we did a show down in Atlanta at Brinks TV. I'm sure you can find it. Mark and I are close friends, and he is actually my co-host for all of the extreme combat sports that we do at PLN. Ultimate Tire Wrestling, where you shove a guy in a tire, Jiu-Jitsu, Guerrilla Games, Slap Fight. He's my co-host for all of them. He went with me to Atlanta, and Randy came to co-host with us, and it was a Jiu-Jitsu event, but on the fly. We got them in the car, and they had a match in the car.
Who won?
You'll have to look that up. I'll send it to you, Adam. But I'm pretty sure we ended it with a draw. But you'll have to see for yourself who the winner was, because there was a winner. But there were also some surprises, because these guys are both, mid to late 50s. So we can't really.
While the car is driving.
God, I wish. What are you doing? No. No, the car's parked. It's actually right out front here, getting detailed right now. The car's parked.
It's one car. You don't switch cars. How about trucks?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them. It looks like a used car lot outside of my gym right now, man. I've got several. But Mark and Randy showed up. I got to finish the story, Adam, so that people don't think I'm crazy. They showed up. We got them in the car. They did their walkouts, and then right as we said Hajime, they take their seatbelts off and they just decided to thumb wrestle. But they were the biggest Karjitsu match we've had. We've had several PFL fighters, Kyron Bowen. We've had Ground Shark, a lot of high-level jiu-jitsu players, female players in our last event. But we're trying to avoid bringing in too much of a crazy talent level just now, because while we're building the sport, we want to make sure and show the right battles rather than just having people slam each other and destroy each other. I was at the Apex when we were filming the first season of Power Slap. And I was at the Apex for a considerable amount of time. And I had an opportunity to talk to some of the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. And one guy in particular, who I would imagine we would all agree is probably the greatest right now, possibly of all time. I wouldn't be able to say, or I couldn't tell you the story, but the story goes like this. Hey, greatest of all time, can I show you this video of this other thing I'm working on? He's like, yeah, I show it to him. And he says, holy shit, this is the next big thing. And I said, hey, man, can I use the quote? And he said, no. So instead of using his name, I just used the quote. You can fill in the name. But Jake Shields, Nate Diaz, all types of jiu-jitsu guys were coming in and out of there. And I would show them Karjitsu, and they all had a lot of faith in it. And so we went really hard with it. We went forward with it. And our last show had 137 million impressions, I think. So people like it. And I think the reason they like it, you guys, is because it's a crime. It's what a crime in progress looks like. It's like a murder if there was no official. Somebody
it's like an action scene in a movie.
Yeah, listen, man. The last time we had a show, the guy that won the match gets out of the car, and in his post-fight interview, he says, "Hey, man, you catch me in the back of a car, I'm going to give you the fucking business." And that's how it is, man. If you're an Uber driver, I suggest you watch Karjitsu. If you're a cab driver, you should watch Karjitsu and hope that your clientele is not.
What's the most effective move in Karjitsu?
Most effective move in Karjitsu, for me, has been like a bread cutter choke. But I use the, like if you can imagine the seat back, like if I've got the seat back here that like raises up and down, gaining mount, lifting that seat back up so that there's the wire prongs exposed, and then reach around and grab it. Now he can't, even if he gets his seatbelt out, he can't get out of the position, right? So at that point, all you have to do is just reach behind. You can fiddle with his neck any way you want to, because at this point, you've got him trapped to the seat. Whether he gets his seatbelt out or not, he doesn't have the ability to posture up. So really, it's just position. Once you have position, I mean, anything works. The last time we had a match here at my gym, we had a guy who was like 300-pound white belts. And one of them submitted the other by just grinding the shit out of him and then just laying his belly on his face. It was the equivalent of this.
The mother's milk,
The mother's milk, yeah. But that's how it goes in a car. Somebody jumps in your car and tries to take it. You can either give it to them or you can fight. And you'd be surprised how limited it becomes in a car.
Yeah.
It's real difficult.
I'm wondering how you sell this to sponsors. Like you have a very good gift of gab, but I'm trying to convince, mainstream sponsor, hey, we got guys fighting in a car. How do you pitch it to them?
Luckily for me, I'm not that guy. My job, my partners are all at the headquarters in New York City at Pro League Network, and everybody that does all the hard work is there. I'm the guy that my team tests the sports. I conceive of the sports. My team tests them. We make sure they're regulated properly, and then we film them here. It's a big studio that I'm in here, and we film them here, and we send the footage to New York, and they do all the hard work. Jason, but I think our next event this weekend, I think our sponsor is a company called Food Fight, and it's like if you want to bet me that Adam's going to lose his match, we can.
Mark the Hammer Coleman UFC.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
we can bet beers or dinner or something. Instead of money, we can bet Buffalo Wild Wings or White Claw. And so this weekend, that's going to be where we are. But we've had a lot of great sponsors over the years. Nothing crazy, though. Nothing crazy. What are you looking at here, Adam?
No, I didn't know that you were the Ultimate Tire Wrestling
Hall of Famer.
So,
Mark, what do you think?
Ultimate Tire Wrestling is a sport we made up.
It had to do with the great sport of wrestling. I'm a big fan of it. I'm excited to see where we can take this.
You can see here Rusty Merrill leaning into the tire and overhooking the inner lip. That's because you cannot grab the inner lip with your hands. I've been repeatedly told. Okay, now Raven's up in the air. That means control time, but his feet are back to the mat. Now Rusty's in the air, and Raven has gained some control time.
Wait, so your goal is to get the guy in the tire?
Getting the guy in the tire, 51% of his body in the tire is a knockout. They call that a dunk. You get 51% in. But these guys are wrestlers in judoka, man. So it's not easy. So if you go the full fight, then the way that you win the fight is with control time. And that just basically means take your opponent, get his feet off the mat, and the clock starts. So I could lay a guy up on the tire and just stall if I want, because it's about control time.
So you just get really stoned and think of sports, and then is that what happens really?
Well, I've got 25 years in combat sports, and I'm a Hall of Fame MMA promoter, but after a while, man, the pandemic hit, and I just started coming up with all these crazy ideas. You know, I used to subject my personal team to this stuff, and we would just kind of mess around in the gym. But when I partnered with Pro League Network, suddenly there was a budget and a process. And so some of the stuff we do here, actually, people like it. It's the internet, you know.
I love it. So how do me, Mayhem, and Bill get involved? We want to be commentators for this.
I'll tell you what, I would love for anyone or all three of you guys to come to the next show, and I would even let Mayhem shove me in the tire or choke me in the car.
No, we don't want to come. We want to work it. We think we'll be great. I know you and Coleman have it, but we have to do some other.
Oh, Adam, you'd be great. Hey, listen, Adam, I already know how funny you are. You'd be hilarious, man, but you'd have to be more inappropriate to fit in with us.
Oh, forget about it. I'm telling you, Mayhem, what do you think? I think we were made for this.
Buddy, yeah, it's definitely, there's something there. This thing is on fire. It's always in my feed, so you guys are hitting that algorithm just right. You know.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear.
Happening. It's good, man. It's good. Yeah.
Speaking of which,
I don't know how the hell.
I have a question. Dana said that slap fighting or power slap had more impressions than any other sport in the world. True? He said it had more views.
When I first started slapping, it went ape shit, man. We went ape shit, and we got billions of views. It was not unlike what Dana says is happening, but I also know that most of those views are from people who are hate watching. They're not people who love the sport. So in my experience, what's not bullshit is that 1 out of 10 people love the sports that we present to them. And the other 9 out of 10 hate it and hate us all and think it's horrible. And that's exactly why we've been successful. With Dana, we've all dealt with Dana. I don't want to say bad things about the guy at all, man, but my version of slapping and his version of slapping are different. And so I'll just leave it at that. Mine doesn't go viral as much as it used to because we're not giving anyone CTE. We're having a slapping contest. So my guys will go 10 rounds sometimes without getting knocked out. Whereas in other organizations, it's 3 rounds and it's almost always a knockout. So, I would encourage people.
Why is that? I don't
well, the reason, Jason, is
rules or.
Yes, sir. When the rules were created for American slap, or for slap fighting in general, they were created at my coffee table. I wrote them myself, and it's real simple. The heel of the hand can make contact with your opponent's face, but it cannot extend any deeper than the tip of the chin. If it does, you're hurting people, man. This isn't worth it. Nobody that's got any power should ever stand there and just let somebody just tee off on them like that. But it's a slapping contest as long as you regulate where this lands. It doesn't matter if you slap me down here. You just wasted your chance, man. If you slap me up here, it doesn't matter because it's a slap. But if you start throwing this, you're starting to fuck with people's futures, man. And that's something that
how can you regulate that? How could you?
I didn't hear what you said, Adam. I'm sorry.
How could you regulate that? I mean, how are you going to know this is here?
Well, we have a couple of ways. We're dealing with some companies now, working with some technology to have it done without any margin for error whatsoever. But right now, We add tape to their wrist. If the tape is seen on camera extending any deeper, if the tape disappears, they're clubbing, right? But we also don't let them move their feet at all. We make them stand shoulder width apart. They can't stagger their feet, and they can't lift their heel or step because, I mean, any one of us could hurt the other one if you let us step into a punch. You don't even have to have skill. So these guys in our organization, they have to use proper gamesmanship. They've got to hit the right target. You know, it's not a hard slap necessarily that knocks a guy out. It's that nerve behind the mandible that you slide it back and disconnect the brain. You know, you don't have to hit a guy with your card if I can knock him out, man. So a lot of our matches come down to you commit a foul, you lose a turn, and at the end, when the judges look at the scorecards, maybe you landed 6 slaps and your opponent landed 10. I mean, it's real simple, but we've had 34 shows and we've not sent anyone to the hospital with a serious injury. We've tested with the power cube on multiple occasions to make sure that we're regulating their power well, and they're fully insured. We just, nothing against any other companies.
Now, if me, Bill, and Mayhem brainstorm, I come up with silly ideas for sports, could we send them to you? And then we can
damn right you can. I get 3 or 4 a day, but usually they're not real practical. If you guys come up with one, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. We're working on one.
What about
we're working on one right now.
Escape room.
What is it?
Escape room jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Sure. You'll have to send me an email what the hell that is, man, but sure.
Have you ever had any ideas that you wanted to do and it just failed and what's the worst?
Yeah. I would think that probably the worst so far was T3 touch tennis. We put it out last year and it just kind of flopped because we had so much. Our fan base is like 90% combat sports. And so when we try to do crazy stuff right now, we're doing a 3-on-3 basketball league with Kevin Garnett. That's a little bit out of our realm of what we typically do, but we've also got a miniature golf league and all kinds of crazy shit that we do.
How about 2 guys are banging 2 girls, right? And they can't pull out, but they have to do jiu-jitsu while they're still inside the other girl.
Listen, man, that's already a sport in Canada, but I can tell you, since we're talking about Japan, there is a new game show in Japan where it's a karaoke show where there's a woman and a man, and the woman is trying to finish the man before he finishes.
I've seen that on the.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Man, I'm really pleased with my ability to censor that while I said that. To answer your question, right now we have a few things in the till. One of them is called Beast Ball. Beast Ball is a combination of football and wrestling. Happens inside of a shipping container unit. You got to get out the other side. But just stopping the momentum of the football is not how you stop it. You got to get the takedown. So since there's no out of bounds, you smash the guy up against the side of the inside of that shipping container. You got to suck his legs out to get the tackle. We're working on that. That'll be out this year. We've also got I've got a show. I'm working on professional food fighting, which I think is a hit, but I want to make sure I do it right before I put it out there.
That sounds like a hit.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I have a great job. These guys at Pro League Network in New York City, they work in the sports wagering business. And so our partnership has just been a blast because what we do is we conceive of crazy things. We make sure they're as legitimate and as safe as possible. And then these guys go out and get them approved for sports wagering. And so people can bet on the slapping or the
pillow fighting your thing? Was your pillow fighting? Was that yours?
No, I didn't like that, man. I actually had started that before the pillow fighting came out. And me and my guys were working with swimming pool noodles. And it was brutal. But the pillow fighting took off. And so we shelved the swimming pool noodles. But it was fun.
We got to get a group chat, 3 of us, and start coming up with ideas all day.
Well, I mean, right away, full jitsu to me. So, yeah. I mean, someone will die. Yeah, but
I tried. I can't get it regulated because of the fucking death, bro. What are you gonna dunk a guy underwater and choke him? You're gonna get me fired. I will say, I have to say, I have a responsibility, Adam. Carjitsu 7, full throttle. YouTube, Caffeine TV, and Brinks TV, 7 p.m. Friday night. Following night at the same time on the same channels, Tim Sylvia fights a 6'6" Neanderthal for the undisputed super heavyweight championship. It's a 10-round fight. Maniac versus Neanderthal, 6'8", 380 versus 6'6", 350. Huge men. We've got a great card, and it's the first time in the history of extreme combat sports that a UFC champion has fought for a title.
Oh, I love it. Well, we're gonna watch it this Friday and Saturday, and
I hope you will, man.
And I'm gonna get your number. I'm gonna be texting you ideas all day.
So, yeah, let's do it. And let me make sure that
jiu-jitsu.
Let me make sure that I get you guys down here for the next the next show, man, because honestly, I think you'd be hilarious, Adam.
I would
You'd be
love that.
hilarious.
Oh, man.
Absolutely love that. Well, thank you. Have a good week.
Hey, thank you guys.
God bless you, bro.
Nice.
All right.
What a great job that guy has.
Like, what?
Yeah, that was mind blowing, bro. I was spellbound right now. That guy is living the dream of just putting on the weirdest stuff. I didn't want to push back on him too much. The slap fighting stuff is very it's really weird. Like weird.
Yeah, I know, but the silly thing,
this is the world.
I think we
2024.
can kill the other things though. The other things I think we can kill. You know, like I think we could kill like wheelbarrow race jiu-jitsu or something. I mean, we could just come up with all kinds. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know. So well, all right. Well, that's our
Do some mushrooms, go to Joshua Tree for a weekend.
Yeah.
Just come up with 100 ideas.
Lose the girl in the woods.
Yes. So Bill, what do you have coming up?
Oh,
Bill.
the internet dropped out.
Oh, did we lose Adam?
No, Bill, what do you have coming up?
Adam is
Just Laugh Factory Wednesdays. I'll be headlining the new Big Laugh Comedy Club in Fort Worth, Texas, the
Nice.
21st and 22nd.
I love it. Mayhem, what do you got coming up? Jason?
I don't know. I'm starting a podcast sometime. I don't know. Eventually. Well, I want to go exactly against MMA Roasted every week.
Perfect.
I'm just kidding. I got a bunch of meetings and stuff happening, like really positive stuff's happening in my life, but I got nothing to talk to you about right now. Like, to be honest, like, just keep following me on the freaking internet.
And if you're in Vegas, I'll be at the LA Comedy Club Fight Week 28th to July 4th, as well as at Dirty
Nice.
30. Thank you guys. Take
Hell
care.
yeah, brother. God bless.